So today we are going to be talking about recruitment and new horizons for, of course, the new year and the year ahead. And with us today is partner and owner from Chatter Communications, Paul Ainley. Paul, thanks for being here with us today.
Yeah, happy to be here. Hello.
So we've had lots of questions for you from members. Many of our members across Yorkshire are really quite concerned right now over recruitment. They found things quite tricky to navigate through, especially during the last 12 months. These issues tend to range from affordability to high turnover of new staff through to a lack of applications for jobs, quite frankly. So first of all, do you relate with any of that concern, and what's your advice when it comes to initially even advertising positions?
Yeah, I mean, certainly all of our clients, so as a bit of background in terms of who Chatter are, so we're an employer brand agency. We're based in Leeds, but we work with clients all over the UK and internationally as well. And we work with clients like ITV, O2, we work with Asda, Morrison's, First Group, a huge range of different organisations. And I would say over the past 6 months, increasingly, we found that clients are just really struggling to hire talent. So there's always been some hotspots, you know, things like tech talent, finance, some professional services roles, specialist roles. I mean, obviously nursing and some healthcare roles have always been very tough, very difficult, very tricky. But more recently, we are running campaigns for things like warehouse operatives. We're running roles for semi-skilled welders. We're running huge campaigns for a whole host of roles that, I mean, in the last 20 years have just never really been a problem to hire. So there certainly is a tightening of the market across all skills. What if you look at the forecasts and predictions, at some point later this year into next year, the predictions are that we will be a full employment economy. So availability of talent and skills is probably only going to get more difficult. And so that's putting a huge amount of pressure onto the whole system, really. And so things like wage inflation, anyone who's hiring at the moment is probably looking at 20 to 30% increases in salary expectations, which sounds phenomenal, but it is the truth. And that will then have a knock-on effect that if you are starting to have to pay 20 to 30% more to get people to join the organization, those that are already there are going to start to look at their pay and demand more as well. So the whole thing is very, very tough at the moment, and it's a very tight market.
And why do you think then that so many of our businesses are not recruiting the right people?
I think that it's just very tough to stand out. There are so many opportunities, and many of your members will be experiencing themselves being much more in demand. They will be getting messages via LinkedIn, direct messages from recruiters. And so when there are just fewer people around, inevitably, you've got to work a lot harder, not only to get good applications, but to get the best quality applications. And that really is starting to broaden out what you have to offer. So yeah, salary is always going to be important. Those hygiene factors, salary, can you get there to the place that you're going to need to work? Is there a vision in place that you can buy into? Is there good learning and development? All of that sort of stuff. But we're seeing much more demand around things like flexible working. We're seeing much more demand, not just in terms of can I work from home as well as work from the office? Can I work 4 days a week? Can I take Monday morning off? Can I, I think that those organizations that are much more tuned in to what their audiences are looking for and are looking at the adaptations that can make in their own organizations and are doing a good job of communicating that are the ones that are ultimately winning.
And that's really interesting that you mentioned location, because many of our members have been really flagging up that, so many businesses are sort of poaching staff from across the north on a London-based salary. And this has been talked about for literally the last 3 to 6 months, although I do believe it might plateau. However, that businesses are very much struggling and battling to find the budgets whereas once they'd be going to staff here, but now obviously London businesses are offering London fantastic salaries with staff being able to work remotely from home. So how can employers compete with London-based salaries? You know, like you say, is it a case of offering more, thinking a bit more sort of hybrid around the situation, seeing what else as a work culture you can offer people?
I think there's still so much that northern businesses can offer. I think the trick is to really engage with the people who currently work for you and the types of audiences that you know you're going to want to recruit in the future, and find out what really matters to them. What is it that's driving their career decisions? And then work out how you can offer that in a way which is competitive. Salaries are a really big driver for all of us. But ultimately, if you hate the job that you're doing, no matter how much money you are being paid, it makes you miserable, and that is not sustainable. And so I think that there are other things that matter to us as human beings. We care about working for places that do good things. We care about working for places that treat people well. We care about working for places where there are opportunities, where there are, there are things that matter to us over and above just doing the job and taking our salary home. And I think once you start to unpick that with the people you want to hire, I think northern companies score really well on those types of metrics. And then it's about really starting to make that a primary part of the overall package that you're offering. So it's really about understanding what are those career drivers, and then it's about working out whether you can offer those things, and making sure that everybody knows that that's what you stand for and those are the things that you offer.
And finally, where do you see the horizon this year in terms of recruitment?
So, I'm 20 years into my career in employer branding, and I have never, ever known a market as buoyant as this. It looks, I don't think it will last forever, but I think 18 months to 2 years, it's going to be tough. And there's a lot of factors that have caused that to be the case. But I think that, I think that for employers, the challenge is going to be what we've just discussed, which is understanding what people want, being able to offer that, and promoting that in a way that kind of cuts through and hits down. But for those people who are considering what they do with their career, I think consider it really carefully. Money is a factor, but think about all of the things that you want from your career, and then make sure that you are making good quality decisions in a moment of time when there are lots of choice. When there's lots of choice, so it's tempting just to go for something that looks great. Actually, really be clear about what's going to be great for you at this moment in your career, and go for that. Don't just go for the money. Go for the thing that's going to make you happy. And now's the moment to find that. So yeah.
Exciting times. Thank you so much, Paul.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, happy to chat as always.